Broadway, listen to the Broadway beat. Broadway makes you want to move your feet. Everybody's tapping into everything that's happening on Broadway beats. Broadway beats. Broadway beats. Broadway beat.
Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway Beat. One of the world's most beloved musicals, Godspell, is returning to Broadway, where it will open November 7th at Circle in the Square, starring Hunter Parrish. We caught up with composer Stephen Schwartz and the company during a break in rehearsal. When did you first fall in love with the show?
My mother tells me that I first kicked while she was watching a production of the show. So it was, even back then, I knew there was something inside. I was like, I got to be a part of this thing. So that was the first time. Second, I did it when I was just out of high school, of course. And then I've always loved the show, and I've always loved Stephen's music, of course. So when the opportunity came to do it again on Broadway, I kicked at the chance.
So why do you think the time is right now, and why do you think people have fallen in love with this musical generation after generation?
Godspell is about a community of people that comes together. At the beginning of the show, no one gets along. They're literally speaking a different language. And through the guide of one leader, they all come together and they remember what's really important, how to treat your neighbor, forgiveness, all these things. I don't think there's any other time in our country's history where we could use that. And I'm reminded of this every day when I watch CNN and see what's going on at Congress. I actually, on the blog that I'm keeping about this show, invited every single congressman and woman to see the show for free on our first preview, because I don't think there's a group of people that need to see it more and be reminded about what this country is about coming together. It's not about selfishness. It's not about my personal career. It's about a group of people, again, coming together through joy.
What kind of blueprint did you bring into the room when you started working on Godspell?
You know, it's funny, hardly much of any. I mean, Danny and I talked about a lot of ideas and a lot of like themes for the numbers, but it truly is like walking into a room with a blank, with the ideas, but none of the steps. So it's kind of walking in and going, okay, go, and it's a thrilling process.
Is it thrilling and scary at the same time for you?
Absolutely, it's scary too. It is, but I love flexing those muscles. I did a little with Bart in South Pacific. It was kind of a little bit like that, but this is even more because it's truly the songs aren't based out of story per se. So we're creating story in the song. So it's even doubly kind of, scary, thrilling, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I wanted it to be a celebration of who these people are, really a love letter to the theater. So we've just allowed these 10 people to come into a room and create and make things up and do totally different things and just have a beautiful experience and make each other laugh, and really that's what we're aiming towards, is just to make each other laugh.
And working with Stephen Schwartz, having him in the room, I know you did this at Paper Mill, and you've sort of reinvented all over again. Collaborating with him, what that's been like?
Oh, it's a dream come true. I mean, he's Stephen Schwartz, and so for me it's really exciting. He's so generous and warm and open-hearted that it's really just exciting to see him hear about how the genesis of the show took place and what we have and what we can change and what we can make new and really where things can be different. So it's been exciting.
I came in on Godspell. The truth is that it was created by John Michael Teblak, the original conceiver and director. He had done it at Carnegie after I had graduated, and then they came to the Café La Mama with it. And that's where I came to see it, and then was sort of able to come aboard and write the songs and help with the show. But this was all the amazing brainchild of John Michael. And I just remember when I saw it for the first time being so amazed by it that these stories had been around for 2,000 years, and no one had ever realized that they were funny. And then I'm seeing the show that's hilarious, but not irreverent, not making fun of it, but finding the humor in the humanity in these stories and these teachings.
What I love about this production is that it's organic. It's all starting from scratch, sort of like the original one was also. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, these are 10 of the most talented young performers in New York, and the whole audition process is about them coming in and making up parables and working with one another, so you really get people who are enormously creative, and then they just get into a rehearsal room and you have no idea what they're going to come up with. I mean, I just saw the parable of the Good Samaritan for the first time today, and it was so incredibly creative and so completely different than I've ever seen it done before. So it's really exciting.
How did this all come about for you, Hunter?
I met Danny in February of this year, our director, and then Ken Davenport about a couple months ago. Spoke to Steven on the phone, and was lucky enough for them to give me the chance.
Did you know the musical before you got involved?
I'm obviously familiar with the musical. I've never seen it live. I've never seen a live show of it, performance, regional or otherwise, and but I've seen the movie. So, and it's a book of the Bible that I'm familiar with, and a story and a man that I'm familiar with. So I'm excited to be here with this amazing, amazing group of people telling this story.
I play Judas. I'm Jesus' right-hand man. Yeah.
Talk about the great Stephen Schwartz score you get to sing.
Well, I was just telling someone that Stephen Schwartz in musical theater is a juggernaut. So to be able to, this is my first show, being able to sing his material. So it's a life-changing experience on a lot of different levels,
And working with this great company and sort of creating this show from scratch.
Well, you don't always get that when you do a Broadway show, an opportunity like we're getting to be able to create and originate. Not only are we singing songs that have been sung before, but we're also getting a chance to do new material and to be a part of the process. So that's incredible.
I'm so excited to be working on Godspell. It's been a long time coming, and my other experiences on Broadway have been with huge casts, so to be in something so intimate feels so special. And then Stephen's music, it speaks for itself, so I'm so excited.
Well, talk about the number you do.
I do a number called Turn Back, Oh Man, which is usually kind of the lusty, really, really fun Mae West kind of number, and I won't give away what we're doing with it, but it's totally been transformed, and I get to play and have so much fun, and the whole team just acts as my accessories. It's really, really fun.
And having Stephen Schwartz in the room, what it's been like working with him?
Well, we've been creating, so he hasn't been in the room with us every day. He did so much, they've done so much pre-production work, the arrangements and the story and all that. So when he said this is the first time he's been in the room, because we've really been creating all of this. And so he really was seeing these things for the first time.
I went to high school in New York, and I went to a math and science high school called Stuyvesant. And I was 15 years old, and I played Lewis in Pippin. So that was my first introduction to Stephen Schwartz. And Pippin was the show that hooked me into theater, hooked me into music theater, and then I had to start doing all my research on Bob Fosse and, of course, on Stephen Schwartz. And that's when I remember loving Godspell. I had to get the Godspell recording and listen to it, and I probably wore out my recording, my original 1971 cast recording of Godspell. So that was my first exposure to it. And it's so funny, I did not grow up in a religious home, but there was something about that music that really touched me. And I didn't grow up Christian at all. So there's something really special in the way Stephen wrote this music that touches everybody, no matter what their religious background is or what they believe, or Hindu, Muslim, Christian, atheist, you'll feel something listening to those songs.
feels like, having been a part of one of the productions at the Paper Mill and seeing it finally coming full circle, it's just so fulfilling, and this group of people are amazing. They are so gifted, so special, so talented, and like the most imaginative people I've ever worked with, easily.
Tell me what you do in the show.
I sing By My Side in the second act, sort of this turning moment where just after the prostitution parable and asking the Lord, Jesus where he's going to, where he's leaving. He's leaving us for a minute. Simple, gentle. I love the music. Michael Holland, our arranger, did a beautiful, beautiful arrangement that I hope audiences will love. It's beautiful.
I mean, I learned about it, I think, as everyone did, kind of in like community theater when I was 8 or 9. I had no idea what it was about, and I really fell in love with it when I first read it. And you can sort of see you can definitely see the ingredients that the other actors from previous shows have brought to the script and the way that it continues to move and gestate. And that's a really unique opportunity for an actor. And I think also the message of the show in terms of talking about community and talking about things that are even larger than religion, which I would say is one of the biggest hot button issues that we have to talk about in theater, is incredibly cool. And this has been super exciting to get into that.
And this great score.
Unbelievable. I mean, Stephen Schwartz, it's going to be interesting to have Schwartz Alley right there with Wicked and Godspell right next to each other. And those are two very unique and different scores, but both so brilliant and heartfelt and musically adept and clever. And to me, as a songwriter, it's been incredibly interesting to watch the way that he's putting this thing together and has not beaten any of the issues over the head. He's been really, really smart about the way that he's talking about religion and about faith, and it's incredibly cool to be a part of.
I did the show when I was a little girl. There was a kids chorus. I did it with James Barber in LA. So random, and so I learned the music when I was like 10 and loved it. Knew nothing about what the show meant, but I was 10 and I was just like, I loved the music so much, and that's the last time I did it. And then now here I am doing it and understanding it as an adult. It's very exciting.
So tell me what you do in the show.
I play Lindsay. And I sing "Oh Bless the Lord My Soul" in the show. I kind of have my awakening comes. I'm a wealthy woman by nature and very successful, and I kind of realize that the point is not to hoard and keep all of my riches, but to give back and give to others, and that's kind of the journey I take in the show.
And just working with this great cast, I mean, it's like the show is all put together from scratch all over again organically, right?
Totally. It's all, we just came in and Danny, our director, he's kind of let us really be free and use the gifts and the talents and the humor that everyone brings. And the cast is absolutely incredible. I've just never been in a room like this every day. It's really extraordinary.